All right, welcome. Let's do a quick, you know me, it won't be quick, but video on how to use Logic Pro X as your live mixer for Zoom meetings, online performances, open mics. We'll need another piece of software, which you probably heard me talk about in my last video using MainStage, was Loopback. We will need that for any interface other than a universal audio that has onboard processing. So, let's get the screen shared. Alright, the screen is shared. You're probably hearing me fine. You can see I got levels here. I have two inputs, one guitar mic, one vocal mic. I'm not going to use the guitar mic tonight, but I'll show you how to do that. And my sound is coming to you. Perfect. If I happen to, the problem we're trying to solve, if I add reverb here to the channel, you don't hear it. And I don't hear it. The reason is audio strips are linked to the recorder. We're going to refer to this as the recorder. So basically, if you follow my mouse, Scarlett comes into this audio channel for recording. The level is depicted here, but nothing on this channel strip, none of these effects work unless it's on playback. So if we recorded something and I hit playback, then you would get reverb because it's on. That is why GarageBand will not work, because it doesn't let you do the next step. So what we need to do, if we go to our settings here for Zoom, you'll see that our microphone's set to Scarlett. It's moving. You can hear me talking because my microphone's plugged into the Scarlett. However, it's grabbing it right from the hardware. I mean through the USB cable, but it's getting it right there. It doesn't know Logic is even installed. So anything I do in Logic, it doesn't know. It's just grabbing the mic right away. So what we have to do is what's called create an aux track or an auxiliary track. So the first thing we do is we create aux track. We'll make it mono and we'll set the input for one. We'll call this one guitar. Like I said, I'm not going to do the guitar, but I will show you how to set it up. Then we will create another one. And we'll make this mono and input 2, which is this microphone. But you don't see any levels moving here until we turn our faders up. So once I get the fader up on 2, then you'll see that I have level, and it's just a mirror copy of the actual track that's linked to the recorder. But this one's independent. So the beauty is I can add reverb here, and I can hear reverb. Reverbs as I talk. And you're probably thinking I'm crazy because you can't hear reverb. Well, that's because we haven't routed it to Zoom yet. Remember, we're grabbing the microphone signal right from the Scarlett. So let's get rid of this. So we have these two on, and now we need to get it to Zoom. Well, that's where Loopback comes in. So we go into Loopback, and you can see here it's empty. We need to create a new virtual device, and let's call it Loopback Zoom. And then we need to add a source, and the source is going to be Logic. So now we have Logic as a source. You could delete the pass-through. You can see it's coming through. I'm going to add a monitor here. Monitor source, which I'm just going to use the Scarlett as a monitor. That way I get it right here in my ears for the demo. So that's all. So now it's going good. So now you just have to, first of all, whenever you change and add a new device, Logic always wants to change it to the new device. So just select Don't Use. Leave your Logic audio preferences set to Scarlett. Now let's go into the audio settings for Zoom. You can see it already switched to Loopback. So we have Scarlett. Just make sure it's on Loopback, and you're good. Now you can hear everything. So now the same signal is going to Zoom. but it's coming from this aux channel via loopback. So if I add reverb, you should be able to hear the reverb, and it's coming through. So in its simplest sense, you're done. You could add a compressor, add EQ, whatever you want, to this channel. Turn that off, and you'd be good to go. You can even mute the two inputs because they're not what's driving the signal to Zoom. This auxiliary channel is. Let's rename it vocal. All right, so you're all set, but let's do this the right way now. So we have two channels. Let's sum them into one channel and add a reverb bus so we don't have to put it on every channel that we want to use it. So the way we do that is let's take the vocal and let's bus it to bus 10. You can pick any bus you want, I just use 10. You can see here it created a new auxiliary channel. Let's rename this Zoom. So now we have Zoom, but nothing's going there because we bused it, but we didn't tell it how much to bus over there. So this little knob here turns things up and down. So what you want to do is Command or Control or Option click and it'll reset to 0, so that's full. So I'm sending the full signal to Zoom from here. Once I've done that, I don't need an output for this channel anymore because it's coming down and it's going to the Zoom channel, and the Zoom channel is going to Zoom. So we would do the same thing for our guitar channel, and it's already labeled here Zoom. And we would turn that up to 0 or option click and set it to 0. So now we're inputting these two channels onto the Zoom channel. So the overall Zoom volume can be handled by this fader if we set these to post fader. So post fader, post fader. All right. So now both of ours are going to one spot. If you want to balance the guitar, you can use your faders to balance your guitar and your vocal to the Zoom channel going to Zoom. Now let's add reverb the same way. Instead of putting a reverb plugin on every channel strip, let's just put it on its own. So we want to bus that to, we'll just say bus 1. It creates a new aux track. Let's call this verb. Now we have verb, and let's add reverb. So we'll add the Space Designer plugin, which is reverb. It's Reverb Designer. There's tons of factory presets you can use. I like Clear Stage. This one seems to work well. And that's it. But you're still not getting any reverb because it's just sitting over here on its bus by itself with no signal. So we have to use the fader again. So let's turn it up, and we'll turn it all the way up, and you can hear I got reverb. Or the Clear Stage is a pretty subtle one, so I like to leave it around, I don't know, whatever, 16, 18. Whatever, you do that to taste. And if you wanted to do your guitar and send it to the verb bus, you do the same thing. And we'll make them post fader also. Oops. So there. Now we have two inputs, both feeding Zoom. Our main recording inputs are muted, so we don't care. Stereo out. Everything's good. If you want to perform, this is all you have to do. You load Logic, mute these two, make sure you have signal into Zoom, and make sure Zoom is set for a microphone to be loopback, and you're good to go. You can perform away. Now the reason I split these off on these different tracks was in case you wanted to have a backing track or whatever. So you could pick one of your loops. We'll just do the 60s Shuffles drum loop. So there it is, turn that off, and let's loop it. So watch your volume here because this will probably be a little loud when I turn it on. So I can hear the drum loop going, but you might not hear it going. You know why? Because let's send it to Zoom. This could be anything. It could be a total rhythm track. It could actually do a click track to your ear or to live. Any sort of rhythm track that you wanted to play to, if that's how you wanted to do it in your performance. But that's why we have these different buses. So anything that we do up here in the record or the track window, we could actually send to Zoom if we needed to. All right, so that's cool. We got that rolling. Now, how do I know what plugins to put on here? I'm not going to get into how to mix down your song or whatever, but you'll want a little reverb, and you might want some compression and some EQ. So you just basically add them to the auxiliary channel, and then the value of the new signal is going to go to Zoom. If you want to play around with these and figure out what a good setting is, then you might want to let's say record your vocal. So we're going to arm it, and then we're going to hit record. Let me send something to Zoom so you can hear it. You don't have to do this part. This is just so you can hear it. So we hit record. Metronome's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whatever you record, whatever you want. And then I would loop it and then play it back. Now the word metronome's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now that you're playing it back, you can apply any sort of setting you want. So let's say we're going to do an EQ, and we'll do the factory guitar. I shouldn't have done it up there, darn it. We'll do it down here. We'll do factory guitar, acoustic guitar, gives us a pretty standard EQ curve for that. And then you play it back. Chord, metronome's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you liked this, you liked how it sounded. So those are good settings. Well, I want that to go out to my Zoom, and you don't do it this way. This is just for the demo. You won't do this part. But once you have your EQ set how you want it, just move it over to your channel. You can also do control drag and copy it. Oops, maybe it's option drag, I don't know. One of those keystrokes, option drag and copy it. Now you have good settings there. Remember, these could stay muted and you're good to go. That's it. That's how you roll Logic Pro X with Zoom. So, if you have any questions or comments or need some help, just put a comment in the forum where you found this video, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.